Hello my dear children, welcome back to English class. In today's class we are going to revise prose number 1 and 2, that is the portrait of a lady and we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So these two lessons, these two proses are already over. In today's class we are just going to revise. Okay, we are going to see the summary in short and also we are going to see some important questions. I want all of you to jot down the notes, take your classwork note and sit prepared for this class. Okay, okay children, so first let's begin with prose number 1, the portrait of a lady. So this lesson is about the beautiful bonding, the beautiful relationship between the author Khushwant Singh and his grandmother. So already we have seen in this prose children, we have seen beautiful episodes between these two people. There are 3 phases in this lesson, which is the first one is the village life, then the city life, and the third one is the return from after abroad. Okay, so this session we are just going to have a revision. We are going to brush our minds. So let's start children. So okay children, so let's begin with the appearance of the grandmother. Do you remember how the grandmother looked? Can you just remember the appearance of the grandmother? Like everybody else's grandmother, this grandmother, Khushwant Singh's grandmother, was also very old. She was a short lady, a little fat, and also slightly bent forward. Okay, she was bending, and she was old. She was short and also she was fat. She was plump. Okay, and on her head, since she was very old, she had silver hair scattered untidily on her wrinkled face. She also had wrinkled face. Okay, crisscross lines all over her face. And she hobbled around the house. Hobbled means what? Just walking here and there. Okay, so she hobbled around the house. So here there is a spelling mistake, sorry children, it is the house, not he house. Okay, so she used to walk here and there inside the house in white clothes with one hand resting on her waist and the other telling the beads of the rosary. So this is the image which we can visualize when we read about the grandmother. When Khushwant Singh describes his grandmother, we can visualize a very short, old, plump lady, very old, with lots of wrinkles all over her face and slightly bent forward, and she also had one rosary beads with which she used to chant mantras and prayers, and one more hand she was resting on her waist to balance her stoop. Okay, stoop means bending forward, and the posture pair வந்து stooping. So she was since she was very old, she was not able to stand straight. Okay, and that is why she was bent, and to balance her stoop, she kept her left hand on her waist. Okay, and with right hand she used to say prayers with the help of the rosary beads. And the author, he also shares what he thinks about his own grandmother. See, when he was a child, people used to tell that the grandmother was once a very pretty and beautiful and young lady. So this fact was, it was very difficult for the author to believe, and because he doesn't remember the grandmother to be pretty and beautiful and young. Okay, because since ages he had been seeing his grandmother as an old lady only. Okay, with lots of wrinkles and stooping body, very old lady. Okay, so it was very difficult for him to believe that the grandmother was once very young and beautiful, and she also had a husband. Okay, and so he compares her calm and serene face to that of a winter landscape, because she was always in white clothes. Yes or no? Her hair was also white, her clothes were also white. So he compared his grandmother's appearance with the appearance of a mountain which is fully covered with snow, white snow. Okay, so this is a metaphor, children, in your book. So I want all of you to please make a note of all these things. This is a very important question, the appearance of the grandmother. So please make a note of all these things, children. So what we have seen, the appearance of the grandmother, she was very old, short, a little plump, fat, and slightly stooping body she had. Okay, slightly bent towards the front. Then her silver hair, that means her white hair, her grey hair, because she was old, it all scattered untidily on her wrinkled face. That means she had wrinkled face also. And she hobbled around, she walked around the house in white clothes with one hand resting on her waist, on her hip, okay, and the other telling the beads of the rosary, that means chanting the prayers and mantras and all. And the author, he remembers her as not very pretty but always beautiful, and it was very difficult for him to believe that once she was young and she also had a husband. And her appearance, no, he is comparing with the appearance of the mountain during winter season when it is fully covered with snow. So this is the appearance of the grandmother. Alright, children, now let's see the daily routine in the village life, the first phase of the author's life, which is in village. Why he was staying in village with his grandmother? Because his parents were staying in the city. They went there, they shifted there to earn a living, okay, to earn money. They shifted to the city, and the author, that is Khushwant Singh, and his grandmother, they were left behind. Okay, they were staying in the village, and the plan was actually, when the family got settled, these two people would also join them in the city. Okay, so until then, this author, he had to stay in the village with his grandmother. So now let's see what was the daily routine of this Khushwant Singh's life when he was staying in the village. So in the beginning, the grandmother, she used to wake him up in the morning, and she also plastered his wooden slate, because in those days children, those who were studying in the village school, they used only wooden slate. Okay, so she used to plaster it. And she also prepared breakfast for him. Do you remember what was the breakfast? She used to give him stale chapati, the last night chapati which was kept overnight. So that chapati she used to give with butter and sugar sprinkled on it. And the remaining chapati is what she used to do. She used to take for the village dogs. Okay. And after getting him ready, she used to accompany him to the school. Accompany means what? She used to walk along with him to his school. Okay, school ku kootit nadande kootit povanga. Okay, his grandmother. The school was also situated in the village only. Okay, now do you remember the school, children? The school was attached to the village temple. Okay, and the priest, he played a dual role. In the temple he was the priest, and in the school he was the teacher. Okay, so both the roles he used to play. And the grandmother, she used to accompany him. Accompany means kuda kootit poradhu. Okay, so she used to accompany him to the school, and after leaving him to the school, what she used to do? She used to go inside the temple and she used to read the scriptures and prayers and chanting mantras, the usual one. Okay, so while he studied alphabets, that means while he studied inside the school, she used to go inside the temple and she read the scriptures and all that. Okay, and on their way back home, she fed the stale chapatis to the stray dogs, which she packed while leaving the house. Okay, so by this we can understand that the grandmother was a very thoughtful person. She was a very helping person. She used to think about others, yes or no? So not only for her grandson, but also for the street dogs, she took the chapatis. She used to think a lot about the dogs also. Okay, so these are the good qualities of the grandmother. You should remember this when the question comes like write a character sketch of the grandmother. You have to write all these points. Okay, so don't forget, children, this was the first phase. So you have to write about the grandmother's participation in the boy going to school. Okay, what all she used to do for him when he was a schoolboy in the village. Okay, and even after going to the school, how she used to spend her time in the name of God only. Okay, she used to pray, she used to sit and read the scriptures in the temple and all that. And also she was very thoughtful. She used to take chapatis for the dogs, for the hungry dogs. Okay, so all these points you should remember. Okay, children, now the family was well settled. The parents of the author they were well settled in the city, and then they sent for these two people to come and join them. So they left the village and they shifted to the city. Okay, probably Delhi, because the author he studied in Delhi. Okay, his school education and all. It happened in Delhi, so probably they shifted to Delhi. Okay, and after going there, the life was entirely changed. Okay, and now let's see what were the changes and what happened to this beautiful relationship when this grandmother and the grandson, they were living in the village. They had a beautiful friendship between them. Yes or no? So accompanying to the school, and only these two people were there. So you can imagine how beautiful their relationship would be in the village. But after shifting to the city, let's see what were the changes in the relationship between these two people. Okay, so let's start, children. So when they shifted here, this author, the first step was the author, he was put into an English medium school. Okay, so this was the first division between the grandmother and the grandson, because in the village, no, she also used to help in his studies, but after coming to the city, when he was going to an English medium school, the grandmother, she didn't know anything about English. Okay, she didn't know English. So she couldn't help him in his homework also. And not only this, she couldn't accompany him to his school because he used to go to school by a motor bus, in a bus. Okay, so school bus was arranged for him. But in village, the grandmother, she used to accompany him to the school. So you can imagine while going on the way, how a lot of things they used to share. Yes or no? A lot of things they used to talk to each other. So there was a strong bonding. But here, slowly the relationship, no, it started getting faded. Okay, it started getting broken. Okay, slowly it was, there was a small an invisible crack in their relationship. All right, so the author, when he went to the city, he went in a city school and an English medium school, and he used to go to school by a motor bus. Okay, so this was very much disturbing for the grandmother, and he studied English in the school, and he also studied law of gravity and also Archimedes' principle, which was Greek to the grandmother. Greek to grandmother means she couldn't understand anything. Okay, so no way she was able to help the author. Okay, எந்த விதத்திலையும் ஹெல்ப் பண்ண முடியல. Okay, in his studies or accompanying him to the school. So there was, the relationship was getting faded now. So all these things and many other things which she couldn't understand at all, which was taught in the school. Okay, whenever the author, he returned home from the school, she used to ask him, okay, what did you study in the school today? So the answer was, I studied English, then law of gravity and then Archimedes principle. So all these things, no, the grandmother was not able to understand. Okay, so this was also very much disturbing for the grandmother. She was not happy, she was very much upset with all these things. And now the grandmother, as I already told you, the grandmother could no longer accompany him to school nor help him in his studies. And because of this, the grandmother, she was very much upset. And because in the school there was no teaching of God, which happened in the village life. Okay, because the priest was the teacher there. Yes or no? So along with the other subjects, he also taught something about God. Okay, God patiyum nariya teaching alla irundhathu village school la. But after coming to the city school, in the God patiyana endha teaching illa. Okay, so this was also very much upsetting for the grandmother. And moreover, the author, he joined the music classes, which according to the grandmother, it was not meant for the gentle folk. Okay, gentle folk means the good people, the it was not for the good people. Okay, so it was something, it was not prestigious. Okay, it was below their prestige according to the grandmother. So grandmother, she was a village lady. Yes or no? So what she thought, her thought was, this songs and all that music, it is meant only for the beggar and low class people. Adhaadu paattu paadi sambarikiravungalukku mattum dhaan adu it is good, and it is not good for the people of noble families. Okay, so she was very much upset because of this music class also. Yes, children, so slowly there was a departure in the relationship between the author and his grandmother. He was given a separate room. So slowly the grandmother, she was getting disconnected with the grandson. Okay, அவங்க ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் வந்து கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக பிரேக் ஆக ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு, கொஞ்சம் டிஸ்டன்ஸ் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு ரெண்டு பேர்த்துக்குள்ளே. ஓகே, ஆஃப்டர் கம்மிங் டு த சிட்டி. அண்ட் மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த டைம் ஷி யூஸ் டு ஸ்பெண்ட் வித் த ஸ்பேரோஸ், feeding bread and grains to the sparrows. And apart from that, she also spent time with the spinning wheel. Okay, and of course the prayers, the chanting, the rosary beads were also there. Okay, so the only thing which she missed very badly was the connection with her grandson. Okay, children, so yes, so slowly he grew up. Okay, and he was sent to for higher studies to abroad. So when he left, the grandmother, she was not at all crying, and she was very strong, and we saw that. Yes or no? So she went to the railway station to bid him farewell, to say goodbye to the grandson, and she was not at all crying. It was right opposite of what the author was thinking. So she was very strong. And after 5 years, when he returned, the grandmother, she was looking the same. Okay, not even a single day older she was looking. அதே மாதிரி இருந்தாங்க பார்க்குறதுக்கு the grandmother. And that evening, that night, she celebrated that occasion by singing songs of homecoming warriors, using drums. She called the neighboring women, the neighboring ladies to her house. She invited, and she started singing songs with them. Okay, so you can imagine, children, this was very unique. It was very strange to see the grandmother singing, because she was against singing and music and all that. So it was very much strange to see the grandmother calling all the neighboring women and making them sit inside the house. And she took one drum and she started beating it so heavily and started singing. So all the family members, including the author, they stopped her, they resisted her from doing so, but she didn't listen to anyone. And the next morning, she fell ill. Okay, and she was on her bed, and her hands were constantly busy with the prayers and all. She was carrying this she was holding the rosary beads and she was praying constantly. She was praying, her lips were moving in the prayers. Okay, suddenly even yes, the doctor was also called, and he said that it was just a mild fever, and he prescribed some tablets for her, and he said that it would go, but it didn't happen. So slowly what happened, this lips, the lips were chanting mantras and prayers. So no, suddenly the movement of the lips stopped, and the rosary beads, it fell off from the grandmother's hand, and she was lying lifeless. Okay, she was looking as if no life was there inside her body, and it was understood that the grandmother passed away. Okay, she died. So the family, they started doing the rituals. Okay, as you know, we have already seen in the lesson, they started doing the rituals. Her body was covered in a red color shroud. Shroud means the cloth which is wrapped, which is put on the dead body. It's called shroud, shroud. So a red color shroud was put on her dead body, and her body was kept on the floor. Okay, and all the people, they started coming to pay tribute, and for the grief, they joined the family. And here we can see the sparrows whom this grandmother used to feed. So these sparrows also, they came and they just sat surrounding the grandmother's body. Okay, they all gathered, nearly thousands of sparrows, hundreds of sparrows, they came inside the house and they sat around the grandmother's body. Not even a single chirping was there. Okay, and sparrows, they didn't make any kind of sound, any kind of noise. Usually hundreds of sparrows varumbodhu, you can imagine how noisy the place would be. But these sparrows, they were very silent. They didn't make any kind of noise. They just sat there quietly, and when the body was taken out, these birds were also they also left the place. Okay, they flew from that place. So this was the birds' style, the sparrows' style, to pay tribute to the dead body of the grandmother, to the grandmother. Okay, their dear friend. So yes, children, this is all about the lesson, the first prose. Now let's see the important questions. So yes, children, I hope you understood the lesson, and I hope you have remembered all the important points. Now let's see some important questions. See the first question: why was it hard for the author to believe that the grandmother was once young and pretty? So I want all of you to please make a note of all these questions and try to find out the answer. Once again, you please read the prose from your textbook, from your reader, and try to answer all these questions. Okay. See the second question. The grandmother is described as a religious lady in this story. Comment on it. So this is also very, very important question, children. So you have to write, you have to take the points from the prose which prove that the grandmother was a very religious lady. Okay, religious means what? Always praying God and all that. Next, third question. The grandmother had a divine beauty. How does the author bring it out? Okay, that means how does the author describe it? Other the meaning. So you have to write. First, you have to write how she was beautiful. Okay, her beauty was very much divine. Divine means very heavenly. Okay, since even though she was very much old, but still she was looking very charming, and with one thing the author compared his grandmother, and all those things you have to write. Okay, see the next question. Describe the friendship between the author and his grandmother. So this is also very, very important. You have to write about the phases. Okay, children, the village phase la eppadi and the friendship irundhudu, and city ku ponadukku appuram eppadi and the friendship maaruchu. Okay, what was the change came in the friendship between the author and the grandmother. So all those points you have to write. Next is This was the turning point in our friendship. What was the turning point? So when the turning point occurred, when they shifted to the city, yes or no? So there was a distance between both of them, and a lot of distractions were there for the author. He joined the English medium school, and he started going to school by bus. Like this you have to write, okay? And he was also given a new room, a separate room, in which only he was staying. The grandmother was not staying with him. So all these things you have to write. So of course this was a turning point in the friendship, okay? The friendship was not the same as when they lived in village. The friendship was different. When they shifted to the city, the friendship was completely different, okay? So how it was a turning point, you have to describe, children. Now see the sixth question. The grandmother was a kind-hearted woman. Give examples in support of your answer. So this is very easy, but you have to write all the points. So you can write about the dogs, okay, the stray dogs, the street dogs in the village, and she used to give chapatis. And also you can write about the birds, okay, when she came to the city, she used to feed the birds, okay? So all these things you can write to support your answer. Next question, you see, compare and write the school in the village and the city, and the school in the city, okay? So you have to compare and you have to write about both the schools. So this is also easy. You can write about not only about the medium, but also you have to write the teaching in the school, okay? So in the village, the priest was the teacher, and it was just a small extension beside the temple, yes or no? And in the village school, the God teaching was also done, but in the city school, all of English and science, the modern science were taught, okay? So these things you have to write. Next, you see, what was the happiest moment for the grandmother after coming to the city? So yes, of course there was a disconnection. There was between the relationship of the grandmother and the grandson, but nevertheless she started spending time with the sparrows, yes or no? So this was the happiest moment. And apart from that, she used to sit at the spinning wheel, okay? So all these points you have to write, children. Next, you see, the sparrows mourned after the death of the grandmother. Elaborate, okay? Mourn means grieving, okay? So after death, we become very sad and we grieve on the death, yes or no? So here the sparrows, they gathered around the body of the grandmother and they started mourning, okay? And you have to elaborate and you have to write. So how was the scene? This I think you can write after reading from the prose. You read the prose and then you write the answer. You can describe the whole thing, children. Now let's see the last question. How does the author describe the grandmother? So here you can write the words which the author used in the description of the grandmother, how he compared the appearance of the grandmother and how he thought his grandmother was. It was difficult for him to believe that she was young and beautiful when she was so many years ago, and she also had a husband, and she used to play with toys and the petty games, the kids games she used to play when she was a kid, okay? So all these things, appearance lerந்து எல்லாமே எழுதணும். And also the comparison which he made, okay, to describe the grandmother. She was very old and she had white hair and she hobbled inside the house in white clothes. So she was compared with the mountain, yes or no? A white mountain during winter season. So idellame all these points should be there in your answer. All right, children, so the revision of the first prose is over. I hope you understood and you have jotted down all the important points in your classwork note. Now let's see the second prose, We Are Not Afraid to Die. Okay, children, so this story is about the bravery and the togetherness of Gordon Cook, who is a father, who is a husband, okay, and who is a captain of the ship, and about his family also, and about the crewmen, okay. And they took a trip in their professionally designed ship named Wave Walker. So what was the name of the ship designed by them? It was Wave Walker. and they tried to duplicate the adventurous voyage made 200 years ago by Captain James Cook. So they wanted to go around the world, okay, and the whole family na yaar Gordon Cook, who is the father, and wife Mary, daughter Suzanne, and son Jonathan. So these the family of 4, they started the journey, and in between, when they reached a place called Cape Town, they hired 2 crewmen. Yes or no? Who were the crewmen? Larry Vigil and Herb Saylor. So these 2 people were hired by them for the further help, okay, because after that, it was they knew that the place was not safe, and they needed 2 more crewmen, so they hired them. So this story is all about the oneness and the unity of the people on the ship during the harsh weather. Now let's just revise how the weather was getting harsh, and how this family managed to survive. So the first leg of the journey, first leg means the beginning, okay, the starting. So the first leg of the journey, it was so peaceful. The first portion of the journey was about 1,05,000 kilometers. The journey was, and it went on very smoothly. During this first portion of the journey, only the 4 people were there on the ship, okay, the family. That means Gordon, Mary, Suzanne, and Joe. Joe means Jonathan, okay, the boy, the small boy. And when the wave walker reached Cape Town, they hired 2 more people, because they knew that the weather was going to be very harsh in the second portion of the voyage. So they hired 2 crewmen. One was Larry Vigil and the other one was Herb Saylor. Okay, so now on the second portion of the journey, how many people were there on the ship? 6 people were there, the family of 4 plus these 2 crewmen. Okay, now let's see what happened next. Okay children, so for your better understanding, I have put some dates and events here. I want all of you to make a note of it. When you revise like this, it will be very easy for you to remember all these things. Okay, so you can also make a flow chart using this. So July 1976, the voyage begins from Plymouth, England. Okay, so England, they are starting their journey, and in the first leg of the journey, as I already told you, that the weather was so favorable, it was good and pleasant. And after that, they hired 2 crewmen, 2 sailors, Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb. Okay, next December 25, which is Christmas in 1976, adhilirundhu January 1 1977, actually it should be 77, yes or no, because the new year, it was new year. So 1977, you please, when you write in the notebook, please correct it. Okay, I'm so sorry that I made a mistake here. I want you to write correctly in your classwork note. So during this time, the voyage reaches 3,500 kilometers, which is east of Cape Town, and the weather started changing, and they celebrated Christmas on the ship, okay, on December 25, and they also celebrated New Year, and the weather was getting harsh and harsh. Okay, it was not at all favorable, it was not at all pleasant. Okay, the waves started becoming big, and it was quite stormy. The weather was very stormy. Okay, so the ship was constantly hit by the storm, which rose in the water, okay, in the ocean, and the weather started changing. It was getting worse and worse. Alright, but nevertheless, they celebrated their Christmas and also New Year. They hoped that after New Year at least the waves will stop, but it was getting very much harsh and worse. And on the next day of New Year, that is January 2, 1977, gigantic waves, gigantic means very huge, okay, very big. So gigantic waves started occurring inside the ocean, and the weather was getting horrible, and the ship also lost the control. The captain of the ship, who was trying to control the steer, but it was not at all getting, under the control, and it was moving up and down the waves. That means it was tossing, okay, like how a doll is tossed when you throw it away, like that. This ship was also getting tossed. It was moving like a toy ship. It was moving like that, and the howling of wind was also heard. Howling means the sound, okay, the sound of the wind was heard, and it was looking so dangerous, okay. They were in the middle of the ocean, okay. It was so dangerous. And now the storm jib also got dropped, and the scary moments, it was a very much frightening and scary moment for the whole family, especially the children were also there. They were inside the deck, okay, and they started attaching their lifelines, okay. They started wearing the oil skins and life jackets, because anything might happen anytime. Yes or no? So we have seen in Titanic movie, when they knew that something mishap is going to happen, some accident is going to happen, shipwreck is going to happen, what the people started doing, they started distributing the life jackets. Yes or no? So in the mari time varumbodhu, this is for safety. Here also the family, they started wearing all the oil skins and life jackets. And the waves, they were not in control, okay. The weather was getting worse and worse, and the waves were very much higher. It was higher than the ship, okay. And they even the waves broke the board, okay. So when the board got broken, the water started coming inside the ship, okay. The water started entering inside the ship. And we have seen in our class that Gordon and Mary, how much they struggled to put the water out. This Gordon, he went inside the deck under the ship, inside the ship he went, and he took that water out with the help of electric pumps and all that. And even the radio signals were not getting connected. It was, no communication was there. And meanwhile Suzanne, she also got hurt in her eye, and it started swelling. So all these problems were there inside the ship, okay. So the whole family was they didn't know that they would see the next morning or not, okay, because it was that horrible. But they survived, okay. They survived. And let's see what happened. So on the next day, the family tried to help each other. Suzanne's eyes was getting worse and worse, and the engine also got failed. And all the people on the board, they were helping and encouraging one another. Okay, so this is most required, yes or no? This is very important. So during disaster, we should help each other, yes or no? So the next day the water level was also very high. That means you can imagine, children, that every day the condition was getting worse and worse. Okay, there was no solution. There were only problems all around. Okay, and the family and the crewmen, they were all together. They fought together. Okay. So meanwhile, this Gordon, the father, he started searching for Isle Amsterdam, which was a small island in that ocean. So they started searching for that island, because ange reach panna mattuna some miracle might happen. Okay, they may survive, illana they will die. Other than situation. So he started doing the calculations and all, northeast and the directions. He started calculating the distance and all that. So finally he went to sleep, and he thought that the next morning this island would come. Okay, they would reach the island if they go in this particular direction. So he did all that calculation, and he slept for a while. Yes, children. So after that, the next day on January 5, 1977, the weather was still unfavorable and it was very bad. And Jonathan, he came to Daddy and he said, "Daddy, if we are going to die, we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. We are not afraid to die." Okay, so these words were very much encouraging and motivational for the daddy, for Gordon Cook. Okay, and the water again it started entering the ship, and Suzanne she made a cartoon, a caricature of the family being together. So இதெல்லாமே வந்து ஒரு motivation ஒரு encouragement மாதிரி, okay, for the father to fight in this harsh weather. Okay, so around 6 p.m. wave walker it reached an island. When Gordon Cook he opened his eyes, he was sleeping, so he opened his eyes, and Jonathan he started shouting, "Daddy, please come out and you see where we have landed." So when he came out, there was no limit to his happiness, because he reached Isle Amsterdam, the small island. His ship reached that island and they survived. Okay, the whole family with the crewmen survived. So here you can understand the togetherness and oneness, the unity made them survive this harsh weather also. So when we are all together, we become very strong and we can overcome any kind of difficulties and calamities, children. So this lesson we can understand from this prose. Okay, now let's see the important questions. So see the first question. Write about the preparations made by Gordon and his wife Mary before starting their voyage. So you can write all these questions in your classwork note, and you can read the prose and then find out the answers, children, and write it down in your classwork note. Now second question you see, describe the ship Wave Walker. So you have to write how the ship was looking, how it was described by the author. Then how was the first leg of the journey, describe it elaborately. So you have to describe about the first zone, the first phase, the first portion of the journey. Next, how did the first disaster strike the ship? Next, what did the narrator do on January 2 when the weather was worse? So all these answers you please find out and write in your classwork note. Now let's see some other questions. Who were Larry and Herb? How did they contribute to the project? See the next question. How did Sue hurt herself? Sue means Suzanne. Next, describe the atmosphere on January 3, 1977. So you can read the prose from your book, children, and answer all these questions. Next question you see, describe the whole scene where the narrator was thrown off board. Last question, describe Isle Amsterdam and also write how the family felt after reaching there. So all these questions you please write the answers in your classwork note. I hope you understood both the lessons, children, and the revision is done. So I want all of you to read the prose from your book as well. Okay, children, thank you and have a nice day.